I know when you send me the message, we tried to schedule this a couple times, and then you send me a message. It's like, hey, I'm ready right now, and I'm jumping off the couch, and I'm just like, hey, I'll be there in 30 minutes. Like,
It's not very often that people want to listen to me.
yeah,
Sometimes they have to,
yeah.
but
I mean, yeah, yeah,
they actually want to listen to me.
yeah.
So I appreciate it. And actually, this is the second podcast in a month I've been on.
Really,
Yeah.
really. Hmm.
So, I go a long time with nobody wanting to hear from me, and twice in a month.
Now everybody want to talk to you.
I wouldn't say everybody.
I think that goes back to when we talked once before when we were talking about doing podcasts. Like nobody wants to hear me, and I'm like everybody wants to hear an attorney.
When I did a radio show for a number of years here in St. Louis, and one of the things that people really liked was I would say, "Okay, tonight, just open it up. It's
Yeah.
Ask the Lawyer."
Yeah. Okay.
And people, oh gosh, they would call. I say, and they really just that opportunity to talk to someone, to
Yeah.
ask the questions. Whenever I couldn't fill time, it's like, all right, it's Ask the Lawyer.
Ask the lawyer. Oh man, I think that would be dope.
Yeah.
That's got to be nice. People. I'm sure you probably got flooded with questions.
Yeah.
Around that time. Because people just don't know, and they want to know. We know, you know. We know attorneys know. So one of the things I wanted to ask, I noticed you've been an attorney for 30 years. What inspired you to become an attorney?
It's interesting. I grew up at a time when Perry Mason had just kind of finished up the show, and it was in reruns. So I watched Perry Mason all the time. I watched L.A. Law, which was really big at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is really exciting. And I always say now, NBC and CBS, I should sue them because they misrepresented the whole thing to me. LA Law, they would take a case from beginning to end in 50 minutes.
Really?
The client walks in, they solve the problem, they go to trial. And, the truth is, being a lawyer is not quite as exciting as maybe show on TV. No, listen, I am very glad I became a lawyer because I've been able to help people. I've been able to make a good living, but it is not everything that people think it's cracked up to be.
I always thought that was one of the things I grew up. I'm like, I'm gonna be a lawyer. You're young, you have all these ideas of what you want to be, and I wanted to be a lawyer. I never thought I have to use a lawyer, but that's pretty exciting. So,
I mean, truly, I was getting ready to graduate from college. We were on a break in one of the classes. I'm looking at the bulletin board. It says LSATs. That's the law school admission test.
oh really?
And I thought, I can take that. And I took it, and I did fine. I took it a second time. I did much better, and so I said, "Well, I'll apply." And I sent out a few applications, and it wasn't something. There were no lawyers in my family, so we didn't. Yeah, we didn't kind of follow in the footsteps. And I'm glad to say my kids did not follow in my footsteps. My brother did.
That's not often you hear that. I was just gonna be like, you second generation, third generation lawyer. So no attorneys in the family at all.
No.
Just you.
My father was the first one on his side of the family to ever go to college, and on my mother's side, there was some college, but it was just not. It was not something that I was destined to be.
Oh,
I didn't quite know what I wanted to be.
Really?
Yeah.
So what were some of your ideas of things you thought about you wanted to be?
I wanted to be a baseball player.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you play?
I did. I loved playing baseball.
Yeah.
And and then I thought I was going to college for business. I started off as a psychology major, like everybody in the 70s, early 80s, and then I went in. At the time in the 80s, Donald Trump was big with his book and business and Wall Street and all of that, and that's probably where I thought I was headed. Just some kind of business job until I took the law school admission test.
So was you one of them people that always thought, look, I'm gonna be whatever I want to be. I can be whatever I want to be.
I always wanted to be too many things at the same time.
that's me now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's something good about that. And then sometimes I think there's, sometimes the cons outweigh the pros.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, we need dreams all the time.
Yeah.
We need to keep doing what we want to do. We need to have something that energizes us to get out of bed each and every day, even if it's something collateral to what we're doing. Even if it's not a job, maybe it's our hobby, maybe it's our faith, maybe it's our relationships. So having those things to kind of excite you, that's important. I've done a lot of different things. Sometimes people say you need to pick one and concentrate. And I said, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's too late.
Yeah. I think it's never too late, Jay. Because you being an attorney, when and I noticed you just said a lot of those things, it's hard to pick because that makes me think, is that why you got into films and directing and producing films? Being an attorney it wasn't enough.
Well, yeah, it wasn't enough. It was a great living. When you talk about being an attorney, I ended up going into a firm that was a big law firm, and as a young associate in a big law firm, it's not uncommon to find yourself in a big room filled with documents and you just pour over documents all day long. Um, Again, I was glad that I became a lawyer, but there was just something else. I think a lot of lawyers also will go into other areas because um, they're used to telling stories. They're used to writing.
Okay.
For me, I would go to lunch with my friends and I'd say, I want to do a documentary film. And I want to do a documentary film on this, and I want to do a documentary film on this. And it got to the point where they're like, Jay, why don't you stop talking about it? Why don't you do something about it? Well, I'll get around to it. And just about that time, the technology changed. You didn't need to do it on film. Film was so expensive. I mean, a lot of your listeners don't have any idea what it was like.
Yeah,
with film.
What is this maybe Gen X and
and then it was even tough with videotape, right? But when we got to where we are today, which is digital, it made it cheaper, it made it easier to edit. And one day I got out of the shower and I told my wife, I'm making that documentary film.
Oh wow.
And she said, great. Why don't you go put some clothes on? I made it with the Flying Melendez, the Highwire family.
Yeah.
And I was the president of the board of Circus Flora. The Flying Melendez were part of that. They were friends of mine, and I thought this is probably something that people would be interested in. So I bought 2 books off of Amazon and kind of looked around for some people that knew what they were doing. I said, this is what we're going to do. And we made the best documentary film that we could, given, what we had. And I was off and running.
I was thinking, maybe we should get a dog.
Absolutely not. We already have sushi.
I don't know why my mom's so against me getting a dog. Instead, have a friend. I'll be back. I promise.
Where'd you get him?
Luke Weaver's house.
You can get out now, come on. Who's that?
A dog. My dog.
It's a bad infection. We have to get Marshall to a vet.
He's gonna need surgery. Can you call your mom at work?
Marshall!
I'm gonna call animal control right now.
If they take him back to the place I found him, he'll die there.
The dog boy. He don't belong to you.
I'm the only friend he's got. He's the only friend I got.
It's easy when things are going good, but it's when things are going really bad, that's when you need to fight through it. Don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle happens.
People will ask, how do I become a filmmaker? I said, the only way to become a filmmaker is to make a film. If you have $10, make a $10 film.